In Rugby League's Silk Cut Cup, Castleford's fine season continued in their first round tie at Hull. It took them most of the first half to break down a determined defence. Their concerted pressure, though, eventually paid off when the forwards combined to bludgeon an opening for Shane Horrow to score what was to prove the game's only try. The score, Hull 4 points, Castleford 7. Steffi Graf emphasised her domination of women's tennis with victory in the Australian Open Championships. She claimed her 5th Grand Slam title in succession by beating Elena Sukova in the final. Though she won in straight sets, Miss Graf had to graft for her win in temperatures that rose to 100 degrees at court level against a resilient opponent. After 71 minutes on court, Miss Graf took the match on her 2nd championship point. Victory to Steffi Graf, 6-4, 6-4.
Tonight's main story again. Labour says the health service review will make it uneconomic for some hospitals to treat kidney patients, but the health secretary says users of the NHS have nothing to fear. And a look at some of tomorrow's front pages. The Observer reports the secrets of the NHS blueprint and claims changes in next week's health white paper are even greater than expected, while the Sunday Telegraph says the white paper will bring in a quality control procedure for surgeons. And the Sunday Express says the door is open for Sunday trading. The government will give its approval. That's it from the newsroom. Good night.
On the record tomorrow, the manipulators. Who are they, what do they do, and what's their power? We look behind the shadows at the substance of the most powerful PR men in politics. And Labour's leaders in a mission to Moscow. Top of the agenda, Britain's bomb. The question, can Labour devise a nuclear policy that will sell to the nation without splitting the party? That's On the Record tomorrow at 1 o'clock on BBC1.
Hello, this front gave the south some unaccustomed rain today, whilst this front gave the north some only too customary wind and rain up there. Meanwhile, this front is rushing away, it's dying in the continental bosom of that high-pressure area, but this one will still give wind and rain in some northern parts of Britain tomorrow. A wide range of weathers over the country at the moment. Skies are clearing over England and Wales. There's going to be a widespread frost. In the south, particularly, some patches of ice as well, where it's rained today. And there'll be, perhaps more importantly, some patchy mist and fog as well. Meanwhile, over Northern Ireland and Scotland and the far north of England, too much wind for any frost. Indeed, some rain in the far north of Scotland and severe gales in exposed parts of the north as well. Much less wind in southern districts. Those are the temperatures at least -2. In the south, some places, no doubt, as low as -4 Celsius, 25 Fahrenheit. Much milder and windier, of course, in the north. Tomorrow, any fog in the morning, clearing fairly steadily, I think, and a bright day over England and Wales with sunshine at times. A lot of cloud, though, over Northern Ireland and Scotland, and over the north and some western parts of Scotland, there'll be rain at times as well, and still very windy in northern districts there with gales in exposed places, and even rather more breeze in some southern districts as well. But a mild day, 9 Celsius, a pleasant 48 Fahrenheit. The magic Moray Firth, warmer than that, 13 Celsius, 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Finally, a mainly dry but windy in the north summary of that. Good night.
Rodney, have I got news for you, bruv? You, Rodney Trotter, have only won a competition.
You clever old thing. I didn't even know you'd been in for a competition.
Oh, no, it was...
Hell, I never went in for this competition.
There's Something in the Air, tomorrow at 7:15 on BBC1.
Action in the 4th round of the FA Cup is featured in Match of the Day in 50 minutes, with Norwich City versus Sutton, Aston Villa versus Wimbledon, and Plymouth against Everton. Now on One, we begin a new series of dramas starring Gary Cole as the Hawk, an ex-cop who solves crime on the radio after hearing from the midnight caller.
Call me Angel. That's Jack Killian. Jack put me here. But I don't hold it against him. He had no choice. Jack was my judge, jury, and executioner. I picked him. That was my choice. Don't go, Jack. Stay with me for a while. I'm lonely. And you're all I have left.
And the Midnight Caller will be on the line again next Saturday on BBC1 at the same time, 9:35.
Tomorrow on BBC1, the mystery continues, but Albert Campion has a few surprises.
I don't believe it.
Do you like card tricks? Or shall I tell your fortune, Mrs. Shannon? You've got a lucky face. I see a silly old woman and her even sillier son who might give the game away, and perhaps they already have.
But what is the game, and is she really the culprit? Campion, tomorrow at 8:35 on BBC1.
An interplanetary expedition is underway in the Film Club on 2 now in Stanley Kubrick's remarkable vision of the future, 2001, A Space Odyssey. And while BBC 2 heads for Jupiter, we on 1 have somewhere closer in mind, Wembley for more snooker in an hour from now. Before that, 4th round FA Cup action in Match of the Day, introduced by Des Lynham.
We'll be concentrating on giving or getting the elbow. That comes later. But first, it's Norwich City against Sutton United, and these are the words the Sutton players heard from their learned manager, Barry Williams, before taking the field at Carrow Road.
Okay. Other two points about the pitch. One, it is not a defender's pitch. On the side of caution, yes, but it is an attacker's pitch. And you've seen the size of this man Gunn. He is a big boy. And he's a good shot stopper, but the ball's on the floor. The spin off, and also we've not got to let anything die. You've always got to be optimistic in the attacking third and pessimistic in the defending third.
Cup in 1989.
Well, the run was great while it lasted, and nice to see the Sutton players and fans as sporting and generous in defeat as they had been when they created that big upset of the previous round. 2 more main matches to come, but first a brief glimpse at how the other non-leaguers Kettering got on. They were at Selhurst Park against Charlton Athletic, Charlton in the red shirts, Jerry Sinstad commentating.
This is Mortimer. Kenzie had got into the middle. It was a good header by Brian Seegers from the penalty. Delight for Wimbledon. Huge disappointment for Aston Villa.
Well, a tough, hard cup tie, and this is what Wimbledon manager Bobby Gould had to say afterwards about the sending off.
I think the linesman made a positive decision and assisted his referee on the day, and that referee supported the linesman. I will support the decision of those 2 gentlemen.
I wasn't actually talking about that one moment, Bobby. I thought all the way through the referee needed eyes in the back of his head.
Aston Villa weren't going to let us win easily, were they? They were going to compete. They changed their system. They played 3 6-foot-plus centre-halves, and therefore, knowing our system, it's going to be an aerial battle. Unfortunately, Barry, I must say that the elbow has become more evident over this past 2 or 3 seasons. I never got involved with the elbow. I think it is a dangerous weapon, and if it is used, as it is used, then the referee and the linesman must make sure that they see it.
Jimmy, what do you make of these elbowing incidents? It started off this week at Manchester United. We had an incident like that.
Yes, well, this season referees have been worried about it and are concentrating more on spotting offences with the elbow and the arm, making sure the players are punished. And of course, Queen's Park Rangers were going quite well on Monday evening when Alan MacDonald committed that foul, and it was a clear one. Look, there's his right arm now, boom, against Mark Hughes' face. And he went off the field, and that cost his club maybe at least a draw or the game. And then in the game today, first of all, there's John Fashanu going in with his elbow way ahead of his own head, and he had a yellow card for that, but his colleague Eric Young here wasn't so lucky, and this incident took place off the ball. And the only person to have spotted it was the linesman. As Neil Midgley pointed out, the linesman spotted it, and it was an elbow, and that's the offence for which these days you can be sent off.
Bradford City had a player sent off too, Lee Palin today against Hull, and of course they were beaten too, so it's not helping their teams, is it?
No, it isn't.
And perhaps the managers ought to crack down on it a bit, do you think?
Well, I would agree. It's all very well saying, well, referees should do something about it and it's up to them to spot it, but surely it's in managers and players' hands to compete, that beautiful word that Bobby Gould used. Let's compete by all means, but let's do it within the laws of the game.
What about the Villa penalty? What did you make of that? Goalkeepers are supposed to stay on the line, aren't they?
Well, in recent years, because of the penalty shootouts, I think it's one of the things the referees have let slip a bit. We've seen quite a number of them. I mean, I don't think this was the only one today, but it was a very clear-cut one. Hans Seegers there had a marvellous game. Look, a yard forward before the ball's actually played, which is cutting down the angle. He gets a start, he's already moving to the right, and he smothers the shot. Now, he should be on the goal line at the moment the ball is kicked, and that's unfair, but I'm afraid, you know, it's become fashionable almost to let those things go. But a penalty is awarded for an offence, and justice is done when a goal is scored. So surely the guy who's taking the penalty, the poor nervous chap standing there with knees trembling, should have the goalkeeper on the line to start with.
OK. The attraction of the FA Cup was very apparent at Home Park, Plymouth today. A full house, 28,000 people, 3 times the average home gate. We're there to see the second division team take on Everton, the second favourites. Tony Gubber's our man this time.
Second Division Plymouth have only progressed past the 4th round on 3 occasions, but this team today still includes a trio of the players who took them to that memorable semi-final in 1984. Özell, Hodges and the remarkable centre-forward Tommy Tynan, who scored 250 goals in a 14-season career. Everton have had the luxury of choosing from a full squad of 17 uninjured players. Draw. It's Plymouth 1, it's Everton 1. Goodison Park, Tuesday night.
Well, the Everton fans won't agree, Jim, but I'm inclined to think they've had a little bit of luck along the way.
They seem to have done. At West Brom and today against Plymouth, I think that luck favoured them, but is that a tip maybe that they're going to be the team at Wembley and win the Cup? It's running their way, although they haven't had the better of the games. Plymouth are unlucky.
And especially
especially with the penalty, yeah. I mean, the circumstantial evidence was very strong. It was Adrian Barrows. We can confirm that. And you'll see the ball comes over a cluster of players, and there is a hand that flaps. But he's round the other way, number 4 there. And I think he would argue that it couldn't be intentional because I wasn't facing the play. But the referee was in a perfect position. The ball struck the hand. The lesson of tonight, I think, is keep your hands down and keep your elbows down. You won't give away penalties and you won't get sent off.
Might run a little funny, but never mind. Plymouth get another chance on Tuesday, yes. But now more of today's ties where an upset could have been on the cards. Jerry Sinstadt reporting again.
Watford reached the 5th round for the 7th consecutive season, and that's a record nobody else in Monday's draw will be able to play Tuesday.
Well, Jim and I are off down the Old Kent Road tomorrow for a bit of a knees-up, and you're definitely invited. Millwall against Liverpool, our live match at 3 o'clock. I've got a feeling there might just be a little atmosphere down at the Den. The draw for the next round is on breakfast television on Monday morning. Well, of course, Sutton aren't in that draw, but they're in the record books, and they're in our memories. See you tomorrow.
Sunday evening entertainment on BBC1 starts with Only Fools and Horses.
Excuse me.
Oh, right. Look, see you later, okay? Take care.
I'm just going to the ladies.
At 8:05, Mastermind with specialist subjects including the life and films of Errol Flynn. And at 8:35, Campion.
I saw that monster. That's nonsense. It was like a 10-foot eye goat. That's better. Now I believe you.
At 9:30, more eccentric animals in That's Life with the nation's champion skipping dog. Then at 10:30, Everyman examines the beliefs of an Orthodox Jewish sect. And at 11:20, International Snooker, the climax of the championship with the last frames of the final. And this is Sunday night here on BBC1.
And we go to Wembley now for our Saturday evening coverage of the International Snooker.
Good evening from Wembley. Welcome to the second semi-final of the Benson and Hedges Masters. This is Neil Foulds, the local man from Perivale, and against him, the man from Merseyside, John Parrott. Hello. So, from match of the day to our match of the night here, John Parrott against Neil Foulds, and the winner will go through to the final tomorrow, and there he'll meet Stephen Hendry. Stephen won a really quality match this afternoon against the champion Steve Davis by 6 frames to 3, and that's the second time in a row he's beaten the world #1. And that result means a new name will go on the trophy this year. Stephen Hendry hasn't won it before, and neither has Neil Foulds or John Parrott. So, the second semi-final, Foulds against Parrott. Well, Neil Foulds came to Wembley after a disappointing season so far, but he's beaten Peter Francisco and Cliff Thorburn to reach the semi-finals here for the first time. Well, John Parrott has now played in 2 Masters, and he's reached the semi-finals in both of them. Last year, he lost 6-5 to Mike Hallett. Well, this week, he's beaten Dennis Taylor, and then last night, he won that superb match against Jimmy White, which went to the last pink. So, 1st to 6 will be in the final, and Neil Foulds has taken an early lead in the first frame, 29-0, and he's back at the table. John Virgo and Clive Everton looking on.